Let's talk about Deebo Samuel. He is now in the negotiation leverage game that everybody else has kind of dabbled in this particular offseason. He has one more year on his rookie contract with the San Francisco 49ers. He's a running back. He's a slant god. He's become a focal point of that offense. He and Kittle are really like, hey, how's this going to go? Let's ask these two how they're going to do. He is looking around at the money that all the other wide receivers are getting and thinking to himself, well, wait a minute. How come I haven't been extended?
Yeah.
How come they're not paying me just yet? What the hell's going on? So he unfollowed the 49ers on Instagram.
Uh-oh.
Deebo Samuel has unfollowed the San Francisco 49ers on Instagram. We need to keep an eye on this situation. Although his profile picture is him in a 49ers uniform.
Right.
He no longer follows them. Is that because he's sick of seeing updates about what their team's doing that isn't him getting extended and making the money that he deserves as a focal point of their offense? Is it because he's disgruntled? Or did he just so happen to potentially, while he's boozed up, we don't know if he drinks, while he's on some vitamins, we don't know if he smokes, accidentally just hit the unfollow button, one about his day? We will keep an eye on the situation.
Do we know if he deleted all the 49ers pictures from his Instagram as well?
Well, that's the profile photo of him still as a Niner right up there.
So
he is still a 49er in that profile photo. So this is different than the Kyler Murray situation. This is different than the Julio Jones situation. This is different than the DeAndre Hopkins situation. This is different than every situation that we have watched, strictly because his profile photo is still that of the 49ers, which is the thing that everybody sees whenever they click on his profile.
He still has the 408 up there too, which I believe is the Santa Clara, San Jose area zip code.
Yeah, so he still has some resemblance of being a San Franciscan in his profile, which is different than Kyler Murray and the others we've seen in the past.
With these guys like DK and Terry McLaurin and him, who are kind of
A.J. Brown.
Yeah, A.J. Brown putting pressure. Do you think that they're just trying to get, like, they see what Christian Kirk got and it's like, all right, well, we want that? Or do you think they're looking more at Devontae and Tyreek? Like, are those guys the exception to the rule? Or do you think these guys now are all thinking like, hey, I want to be paid, 26, 27, 28 million a year?
I think you can be who you can afford to be. Whatever somebody will pay you, you should take and be happy about and be, ecstatic. Like Christian Kirk, there was a tax for him going to Jacksonville. Yeah. And that has not been talked about. Like, I think a lot of people and even some ownership and I think front office and management have come out and said, what they paid Christian Kirk was absurd because now we got to pay like all these other people that. But also, I think if you have a brain in a business, Jacksonville's going to have to overpay some people to get there. Not that Christian Kirk had to be overpaid to go to Jacksonville. Christian Kirk probably pretty pumped up to regardless to go there. But Jacksonville knows that they're going to have to sweeten the pot a little bit to make people want to come build something in Duval County with them. Now, Deebo Samuel, I think he's going to be commanding a good amount of money because he's a massive part of their offense and the reason why they're successful. I'm not 100% sure. Like Terry McLaurin, he's obviously a stud. I think he's been a captain since his second year. He is going to be beloved anywhere. That team's kind of stunk though.
True.
So I'm not 100% sure if he's going to be able to command. Devontae Adams, NFC Championship multiple years. Tyreek Hill, AFC Championship Super Bowl. Those teams, although it's quarterback stat winning for whatever reason, I think if I think you're going to have to be up in that upper tier of success in the NFL with you being a focal point to really command the amount of money that those top guys are. Although I think big money's still going to happen for Terry McLaurin, for A.J. Brown, for these guys that are looking for their next contract. I think Devontae, Tyreek Hill, Deebo might be thinking to himself, though, hey, you're going to pay me like everybody else is getting paid at this level that we're at.
Yeah, it feels like the Niners can't let go of Deebo because he is such a big part of their offense. But could you see like DK, Terry McLaurin, probably not A.J. Brown, but maybe them getting moved during the season? Because if they start off real slow and then all of a sudden they're thinking in their heads, these teams like, hey, we either pay this guy 25 to 30 a year, give him 65 million guaranteed, or we just kind of part ways with them, continue the slow tank, and then we save a bunch of money for next year and we kind of take another run at it.
Well, if DKS does the same thing that OBS does, there's a chance. I guess there's a chance that if DK Sr. puts together a clip of, hey, this Drew Lock guy's a lot of fun, he can dance well. Guy can't fucking hit my son if he even tried to. Just like what OBS did about OBJ in Baker Mayfield's relationship, put the pressure on the organization and the program so heavily that they basically had to move him. He ends up at the Rams. All works out perfectly. The middle of the season move for a star, and I know it just happened to Odell Beckham Jr. and Von Miller last year, both of them going to the same destination. I don't think that's as normal. We had some news earlier today that Deebo Samuel had stopped following the 49ers on Instagram. And we have to keep our eye to that because he is one of the guys who is on his rookie contract, who is a vital piece of the 49ers' success. The 49ers have had success, and he's seeing other wide receivers get broken off and paid. And he said, hey, why not me? Why not now? So we pointed out, obviously, he still has the 49ers profile photo in there. So although he unfollowed him, maybe it was by accident. Sure. Maybe he had a couple booze. We're not saying he drinks. We don't know. Maybe he accidentally hit that button. Maybe he was on some vitamins. Maybe he accidentally unfollowed. Turns out, since reporting that, he has removed the 49ers as his profile photo. It is now just a black circle there. He still has the 408 on the plane thing, but it appears as if the 19 problems Twitter, and one of them, let's add one, is for the San Francisco 49ers because Deebo has removed all 49ers resemblance from his social media. We've seen this move done in the past. Julio Jones did this with the Atlanta Falcons a couple of different years. It obviously ended the way it ended. Kyler Murray did this with the Arizona Cardinals recently. We've seen it done before. Now it's Deebo. The Niners, who Peter Schrager says, not normally people that are going to pay somebody early. They still have Jimmy G on the salary cap. That's $20-some million. He's supposed to play for another year. Where there is trouble brewing with a man who is very, 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 very good at football in Deebo Samuel. And although it's 2022 and this is a thing, this is a real thing that should be garnered some attention. And we are doing just that, AJ Hawk.
Yeah, as crazy as it is to say, yeah, this is the thing. Like when somebody does this, a lot of times it means something's up. But as far as his contract could they redo him right now? Is he in contract? Or is he in talks with them?
We have no idea. The only thing we know is he said, I ain't fucking seeing their posts anymore. I'm tired of them talking about everybody else making money but me. That's what he said. I don't want to see them in my algorithm. I don't want to see their fucking, hey, happy beer day post. I don't want to see anything that the 49ers social media team is going to do on when I open this up. I don't want to see nothing from the group that refuses to pay one of their most important players on their entire team, and that would be me. I'm on my rookie contract. You haven't paid me nothing. We got people making $30 million a year playing wide receiver that have less of a role in the offense than I do in this one. Give me my money. I'm unfollowing. That's what Deebo said. And people act as if, these 2022, this modern generation so soft. It's like, well, back in the day, guys would go to newspapers and say they weren't happy. So like now there's just a much easier way to say, hey, I ain't happy with what's going on. Let's start this dialogue. Let's start this conversation. And Deebo's doing that right now, and everybody's following along on the IG.
Well, and now, too, isn't it much easier, though, to give these guys massive contracts? Like, if
because everything's fake?
Yeah, and they could just backload it. Like, if the Niners really want to, give him a massive extension with the Jimmy G contract, obviously, though, it's his last year, like, they could make it so his second year into the contract extension that he's making, the $30 million that the top guys are, because obviously he deserves it. He does everything for the goddamn team.
He's not happy, dude.
He's too good. I guarantee you, Kyle Shanahan's going up to John Lynch and everybody saying, "I don't care what you have to do. This guy absolutely needs to be here."
Hey, did you see his Instagram? I saw his Instagram. My kids told me about his Instagram. We need to let's get these pictures back up on this feed. All right, let's get him back following with the 49ers. Let's get this thing turned around. They got a lot of decisions to make over there in San Francisco, and they are in the NFC West, which is no walk in the park either, but they have a team that could go as well. It's a fascinating team right now in San Fran.